Preseason is in full swing. And while I don't like to talk about preseason a whole lot, that's why I haven't really talked and called out a lot of preseason games. We had some performances last night that I do think deserve to be talked about. We'll talk about that plus more right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. I'm the host, Sir Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at NBA Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content today, y'all. And yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't like talking about preseason. I feel like the thing with preseason is people sometimes get too far up or too far down on things that in preseason that don't really matter. When I look at preseason games, I like to do the process, the style, those type of things. But I won't lie. There are a couple of performances yesterday that I got reason to get excited about. Many of you know I'm a Bulls fan through and through, but one of the teams that I'm really excited about this season is the Houston Rockets, and they were in action against the Utah Jazz, and Ace Bailey put on an absolute show for them yesterday. When you look at it, the Houston Rockets still came away with a win. They're 2-0 in preseason so far, for whatever that's worth. Who needs that? But Ace Bailey went 11 of 16, 2 for 5 from three-point range. He had 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, only 2 turnovers in this game as well. And it was negative 7 in the game, but he had 25 points in this game. And this was one of those games where Ace Bailey reminded, for anybody who doubted or anybody who questioned the talent of Ace Bailey, right? I know there was a lot made around the draft about everything narrative, but not about Ace Bailey's skill. Ace Bailey is legit, and the potential there is out the wazoo, right? And that's why the Utah Jazz took the risk and felt comfortable taking the risk to go ahead and draft him anyway, was because of all those tangibles, not even intangibles, all those tangibles about Ace Bailey and what he could possibly blossom into at an NBA level. He's going to have an opportunity to get shots here. Of course, once Lauri Markkanen is back playing, and that type of stuff, it's not going to be as many shots. He's going to have to try to figure things out in the balance there. But I tell you what, Ace Bailey showed exactly why he went as high as he went in the draft, exactly why the Jazz and other teams felt like he could be a franchise-changing talent. Ace Bailey is that good, period. And so no matter how you look at him with the personal things and all those things going on, Ace Bailey is going to be really, really good. And the fact that the Utah Jazz may have gotten one of the players with the highest ceiling in this draft at number 5 could end up working out for them quite considerably. Yeah, they're going to have to figure out Ace Bailey wanting to stay there long term and things like that. But Ace did. He put the ball on the floor. He had the ball in his hands. It was really good to see that he took the most shots on that team. There are only, 4 players that had double-digit shot attempts, I think 4 or 5 players on that team. One of them also was Walter Clayton Jr. Look out for that kid as well. I think that's another kid with a bright future in the NBA. But, for what it's worth, Ace Bailey absolutely put on the show, and it was really good to see him have that moment. Now we just got to see what he's going to do. For what it's worth as well, Kevin Durant played in last night's game. Also, he went 7 of 10 from the field, and you started seeing exactly why they wanted Kevin Durant there in Houston. And not just because I'm high on the Houston Rockets, which I am, and it's not because of just Durant. I was high on the Rockets last season before they added Durant, but I think they added exactly what they needed in a player like Kevin Durant that could help them with their offense, help them with their balance there, and all those type of things. And, Kevin Durant, the thing that I'm worried about with Durant is the fact that they do need a more vocal leader. I think Kevin Durant is somebody that needs that. Fred VanVleet was supposed to be that. Of course, now he's not going to have the chance to be, but overall, Kevin Durant looked really good in his minutes out there as well. And the balance, when you look at it, they played the starting lineup of Reed Sheppard, Alfred Sengun, Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith, and Kevin Durant. Probably what's going to be their starting lineup going into the season. Every one of the players had double digits. Even Reed Sheppard, he only took 7 shots, which, again, a solid shooter when he, especially probably playing off a player like Kevin Durant, not necessarily the facilitating type point guard. Amen Thompson went 19 points. He went 9 of 15 from the field. Jabari went 7 of 11. The presence of Kevin Durant helps the Rockets find easy offense. And as somebody who did watch a lot of Rockets game last season, the offense was never consistently easy for them. They had times of that, absolutely, but it wasn't consistently that. And so hopefully they find that this season now, and the balance with their bench and things like that as well. This is a team that I am still very high on, even after losing Fred VanVleet. And I think you look at that, Dorian Finney-Smith, who did not play, he may not be healthy by the start of the season, but there's a lot of reason to be excited about what the Rockets can end up turning into this season, and you got a glimpse of that last night, and the Rockets just need to continue finding it, man. And I know they're going to be looking to try to find their balance. Over the course of this season, they're looking to see how they're going to handle ball handling before they make an ultimate decision on trying to find a point guard or anything like that. But I think last night showed, at least during the regular season, how that could help. Now, they're facing off against the Utah Jazz. The Jazz aren't expected to win a lot of games this season. And this is why I say with preseason, look more at the process than the result, right? And the process, as far as how they shared those ball handling duties, was evident. And that could be like their path to success. For what it's worth, they had 32 assists last night. 32 assists, only 13 turnovers. When you move the ball like that and get everybody involved, that's where you can find something, especially if you don't have the more traditional facilitating type point guard. And that's just the biggest question here for the Rockets. Are they going to be able to get that consistently out of this team? Are they going to be able to perform that way consistently for that team? And we shall see. For what it's worth, Alperen Sengun did lead the team in assists with 13. You also got 6 from Amin Thompson, 3 from Reed Shepherd. So there you go on that one. Like, only 1 from Kevin Durant as well. So, we'll see what they can end up turning into. But again, I think that was a really, really good performance, and, we'll see what comes out of it. And then you had the San Antonio Spurs versus the Miami Heat. Now, this is a game where, it's interesting enough. Of course, Wemby played in this game. He did play 22 minutes in this game. He had 10 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks in this game, and a steal, filling up the stat sheet in only 22 minutes. You got Devin Vassell with 12 points. Keldon Johnson had 19 points. Champagny had himself 15 points as well. And this is a team that, they don't have their point guard out there yet in De'Aaron Fox, and we'll see what happens with that one. But this is another team that I do think, depending on how the balance works out, it's a team with a bright future, man. And so it's good to see Wemby out there on the court, especially after the season ended early last year. And that's what the Spurs are hoping for, that they're going to find some success. But then let's flip it. Kel'El Ware, a player that Eric Spoelstra has had some issues with the way he prepares for games, with his focus at times. He had 29 points in 26 minutes, going 12 of 19 from the field. He had 29 points, 12 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, and 1 assist. He had a plus-minus of +10 on with his performance out there. Now, I don't know if this is going to be enough. Eric Spoelstra seems like he has a development plan in mind for Kel'El Ware, and I won't say that he necessarily doesn't believe in Kel'El Ware, but he just wants him to play better and prepare better and act more professionally, and hopefully that happens for him. Jaime Jaquez as well, who didn't necessarily follow up his rookie season with the season that people expected from him, but he had 19 points as well, going 6 of 8, 7 of 7 from the free throw line. So, the Miami Heat are going to be an interesting team. They also has Kasparas Jokic on this team, and, I do think eventually he's going to fill their point guard needs, and I think you could have a backcourt with him and Tyler Hero eventually. Now, he played 25 minutes. He went 2 of 7 from the field overall for 8 points, but 10 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Kasparas Jokic is a player that is going to take some time to develop at the NBA level, but he has some skill there. And, developing that on the Miami Heat is going to be interesting. Jaime Jaquez himself once said that he had to learn to be a Miami Heat player first and then an NBA player. And that speaks to the culture of the Miami Heat. That speaks to the coaching. And Kasparas is going to go through that type of thing too. We just got to see how he's going to do it. Norman Powell, for what it's worth as well, had 18 points in this game. He led all the starters in scoring. No other starter scored in double digits. Even Bam, he went 3 of 10 from the field for only 9 points. But another, fun, exciting game to watch for preseason. Again, in the framework of it being a preseason game, we're not going to try to act like it's more than what it is. So we shall see what's going to happen there overall. Now, with that said, there are also some other things that happen around the NBA. Like I said, I don't like talking about preseason games a whole lot. I think it sets a weird expectation. But with that said, we do have word that the Cleveland Cavaliers, whatever's going on with Malik Beasley, I do think the NBA is going to be trying to get that decision on what's happening with Malik Beasley sooner rather than later. But reportedly, the Cleveland Cavaliers have an interest in Malik Beasley. And here's what I'll say to that. The Detroit Pistons still have his bird rights for Malik Beasley. And there is no way in hell, if I'm the Detroit Pistons, I'm letting Malik Beasley go to the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavaliers, who already have Lonzo Ball coming off their bench, of course, some questions on if he's going to be healthy, but with his defense, his playmaking, his connectivity as a point guard as well, if you add Malik Beasley, and this comes from Shams Charania, if you add Malik Beasley to that Cleveland Cavaliers bench, I'm not here to say it's going to be the best bench in the league or anything like that, but playing off the gravity of a Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland, being able to space the floor for Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, like that just becomes very dangerous in that Eastern Conference. And with the Detroit Pistons looking to make their move in the East this year, I don't think that they can afford to do that. They should not in any shape, if they have any control over it, if Malik Beasley's willing to come back there for anything, do not, by any means necessary, let Malik Beasley go to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, with that said, is that a little bit of an exaggeration for me? Yeah, I am a Bulls fan, and while this channel is an NBA channel, I'm always going to be objective in my coverage here. I still just don't want to see certain shit happen, right? Like, that's just, as a fan, it is what it is. The Cavs already are a strong team, and I think with health, the Cavs are absolutely going to be a championship contender this year. They just got to be healthy in the playoffs and at the right time, and that is something that they're going to be focused on, and that probably is, if they are looking to add more depth with Malik Beasley, I'm sure that they have that in mind as well. So we'll see how that thing shakes out for them. But overall, I'll say this, man. It was a lot of fun games yesterday, a lot of fun basketball being had. We are so close to the NBA season starting. We're, 13 days away from actual regular season basketball. And, yeah, that's when the content don't stop. So make sure you guys stay in tune with us and locked in with us here. You can follow us at Bull Central. I'm sorry, wrong podcast. You can follow us at NBA Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, NBA Central Show at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything basketball related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, I love you guys, and I'll catch you guys the next time I feel like making a video. Probably tomorrow, or maybe even later today, with how things have been going around the NBA. Love you guys. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.